Hello, my name is Lindsay Franklin. I am the Executive Assistant Director of Operations for the American Board of Urology. Under ordinary circumstances, we would be welcoming you to an in-person examination. The last year, our primary focus has been and remains on protecting the health and safety of you, our candidates, our diplomates, board personnel, and examiners. In consideration of those factors, in January of this year, we made the prudent decision to hold our Certifying Part 2 oral examinations in a virtual environment. Our goal is to deliver a safe and equitable examination experience while maintaining the integrity of the exam. While this solution is not optimal, we will do our utmost to provide a valid and reliable exam experience. The 2021 oral examinations will be delivered virtually on Friday, May 21st and Saturday, May 22nd. You will be assigned one exam date and participate in a morning exam session and an afternoon exam session. Time zones will be taken into consideration and accommodated as possible. Due to the complexity of this process, you will not be able to select your exam appointments. Exam dates were distributed on April 27th. Exam times and Zoom links will be sent the week of May 17th. This year, all candidates will have one morning exam session and one afternoon exam session. Candidates will be tested on 4 clinical scenarios, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon of the same day. Each protocol consists of 12 questions. Each exam session will last 50 minutes. Each candidate will have 2 examiners for each exam session. Each virtual room will have a lead examiner administering the first protocol for the exam and a co-examiner who will be observing. The roles will reverse for the second protocol for that candidate. Both examiners will score for each candidate. On the day of your exam, you will simply join the Zoom meeting using the link provided via email, as early as 5 minutes prior to your start time, but no sooner. Your examiners will admit you to the exam session as close as possible to your scheduled exam start time. Examiners strive to abide by a specific timeline. However, there are instances when exams can go over, so please do not be alarmed if your session does not start promptly. If an inordinate delay occurs, an ABU team member will be in touch via email. At the onset of your session, an examiner will ask that you provide your candidate ID and perform a quick room sweep, allowing the examiner to scan the perimeter of the room. Please leave your microphone unmuted and video running during your entire exam session. Because video software can drain battery life, we recommend that your computer is connected to a power source throughout the exam. Please be sure no other applications are open or running on your computer during the exam session, including web browsers. At the conclusion of your exam session, please leave the meeting promptly. As a reminder, you are not permitted to consult any notes or study materials during the exam. Please plan to complete each exam session in a quiet space without interruption. If you experience technical issues before or during your exam session, please contact the ABU office immediately. Contact information can be found in your schedule invitation. If the examiner leading the protocol experiences technical difficulties, the co-examiner will step in to complete the session. Emergency makeup sessions will be available in the evening of the day of your exam. Your examiner will share his or her screen so that you can review a candidate summary for each protocol. The summary will include details relevant to the case scenario. You can take notes on this information, but must destroy all exam-related information immediately following your exam. In addition to the case summary, your examiner may share images relevant to the protocol. Please recall signing a confidentiality statement with your online application. Additionally, you have authorized the ABU to record the video and audio of your exam sessions. These recordings are for internal purposes only and will be retained in accordance with ABU retention policies. The board has established rules regarding appropriate behavior during examinations so that they are administered in a fair and impartial fashion. Please do not discuss any of the content of the exam with anyone during your oral examinations. Please do not share information about the exam content following the exam. You may not retain any notes taken during your oral examination. Please do not discuss or disclose the content of the examination to others or reproduce any portion of the examination in any manner, including reconstruction through memorization or dictation. Your cooperation in refraining from all conversation about the examination in between sessions will help maintain a proper testing environment. Recording, transmitting, or transcribing any portion of the examination will result in invalidation of your exam, forfeiture of your registration fee, and permanent ineligibility for ABU certification. In addition, the ABU reserves the right to prosecute those responsible under all applicable state and federal laws, including but not limited to copyright laws. Results will be posted to the candidate and diplomate portal approximately 3 to 4 weeks following your exam. We will notify you via email when results are posted. On behalf of the ABU staff, we wish you a successful examination experience. We know what you have invested in your training and in this certification process, and if we may be of assistance at any point, please let us know.
Hi, my name is Gary Lamack. I'm a trustee of the American Board of Urology and chair of the Oral Exam Committee, and I'd like to welcome you to the oral exam in 2021. This year feels a lot different to all of us, but we are confident that the virtual exam that you're about to take is a very secure one, is a reliable one, and we feel that the content is going to be essentially the same as what's been given in the past previously in Dallas. So I'd like to just go over a couple of the basics with you before you take the exam. I know that the office has been in touch with you over the last several months and gotten you well prepared for this. But I do want to go over some specifics as I would any year before the examination. We realize that it's been a very long journey to get here. We realize your accomplishments are numerous, and this is just one, maybe the final step in that process. Really, our job on the board is to allow you to showcase your knowledge and your communication skills. At the same time, we recognize at the ABU that it's a certificate is an honor, and we really maintain high standards for all diplomates of the American Board of Urology. We know that you've signed a confidentiality statement with the board prior to taking this examination, and we take that confidentiality statement very seriously. We're committed to maintaining the integrity and quality of the certifying examinations, and we realize these are critical basis for the decision-making process for urology board certification, indeed the final process. It's important not to discuss or otherwise share the exam content outside of your examination. The American Board of Medical Specialties defines irregular behavior as any action by applicants, examinees, or potential applicants, or others that subverts or attempts to subvert the examination process. So examples of that irregular behavior are falsifying information, giving or receiving unauthorized assistance during the examination, altering or misrepresenting scores, or behaving in disruptive or unprofessional manners. Obviously, theft of any examination materials in any way, virtually, would be considered irregular behavior. Unauthorized reproduction by any means or communicating or disseminating the examination content is strictly prohibited and is not allowed. These are copyrighted materials. Also, posting or discussing content in any website or asking others to do so would be considered irregular behavior. If we are made aware of any irregular behavior on the part of any individual participating in the examination process, we will review the information and determine if there's sufficient evidence of irregular behavior. We ask you to cooperate with the ABU during that, any investigation that may come of that. Consequences for irregular behavior may include, but are not limited to, a warning, censure, deferral from certification process, suspension, or even revocation of a current ABU certificate. So what's our objective of the oral exam? We want to measure factors that are tested that aren't really tested very well by a written exam. So ability to collect and integrate information, ability to solve problems posed to you as they come up on the fly, knowledge of surgical procedures and techniques, preoperative, intraoperative, and postoperative decision-making, Management of complications, ability to communicate with patients and families is very important, and the ability to practice in an ethical and safe fashion. This is an interactive process, even though virtually it is very much an interactive process. As you know, you'll be tested on 4 clinical scenarios or protocols, 2 in each of your 2 sessions. Each of you will have a morning and then an afternoon session. The protocols really represent a wide spectrum of urological practice. Even within an individual protocol, you may have a very varied representation of urological practice. As you might imagine, candidates on Friday will have very different protocols than those given on Saturday. When you step into the exam room, you'll be given an overview of the exam process. Please make sure, of course, to arrive on time for the Zoom meeting. You will have 2 examiners who will introduce themselves at the beginning of the meeting. They will ask you to do a sweep of the room at the start of your first protocol. You will have 2 protocols and you will have 50 minutes to complete them. Only one examiner will be giving each of the protocols. It will not be going back and forth, but both examiners will be observing and both will be scoring. At the beginning of the examination process, you will be given a 1-page case summary with the chief complaint, history of present illness, review of systems, physical examination, and any pertinent laboratory data. The examiner will share their screen. Let them know if you need to see a different portion of the summary, and you certainly are permitted to take any notes with pencil and paper during the examination process, just as you would if you were in person. If a visual or a test or exam is ordered during the protocol, the examiner will show it to you at that time, and please make sure you communicate with them if you can see it. Once you're done looking at it, we will get you back to the case summary. You should obtain clinical information and data as you would in practice. The examiners will ask you very specific questions following a very specific script, but some questions may be open-ended and they will encourage you to answer in that way. The examiner will make it very obvious to you whether he or she is trying to get information or has provided you with sufficient relevant data. Do not assume at any point during the protocols that any routine or specialty test has been done unless the case summary provides them or the examiner clearly states that they have been done. Don't guess during the examination. If you're not familiar with an area, then tell the examiner. Your answers should be concise so that you have plenty of time to express your understanding of the clinical scenario throughout the entire protocol. If you believe you've answered the question correctly, move on. You may be asked at certain points if you want to expand your choice. For example, if you're trying to give elements of a differential diagnosis, and the examiner may prod you for a different answers or additional answers at that time. Don't worry if the examiner cuts you off. It typically means that we've assessed your knowledge of that area, you know the material, it's time to move on. But if a situation is unfamiliar, try to work the problem out. The examiner is interested in how you solve problems. If you feel though you've answered the question incorrectly, move on. It's only one question of that protocol. Just move on to the next question. Even if you at a later point in the protocol realize you didn't answer something correctly, continue to move forward. So what are the examiners evaluating? They're evaluating, can you determine if appropriate historical and physical examination information is available? Do you order the appropriate tests? Do you have sufficient confidence to avoid unnecessary or needlessly invasive tests? Are you able to organize the information, interpret labs results correctly, and order appropriate imaging studies? We will take into account cost effectiveness and risks of tests being evaluated and not over-ordering superfluous testing. We're also evaluating whether you have a good understanding of the disease process being evaluated and offer an appropriate treatment plan, safe clinical management, how you handle complications and provide a strategy for follow-up care. Clearly, your ability to communicate is very important and your professionalism will be assessed during the examination as well. The examiners will evaluate your performance on specific questions as well as your overall management of the scenario. For each of the questions, a score of 1 to 5 is given for each section of that clinical scenario, and there are 12 sections in each protocol. The sections of the scenario may include a diagnosis, differential diagnosis, management of complications, surgical interventions, and follow-up. And then an overall evaluation is made for each case and is weighted for about a third of your total score. Scoring will be adjusted for the examiner's grading severity, which we assess after the completion of all the testing. Our responsibility as examiners is to allow you to demonstrate your knowledge, evaluate you objectively on each question. We're going to be fair, we're going to be consistent with our evaluation of each of you and your scores, be courteous, of course, and assess your performance. It's very important, if you feel those goals have not been met, to contact myself or Dr. Thrasher or anybody on the ABU staff so that we can look into that. We want this to be a fair and equitable exam. Just as a bit of a background, last year's certifying exam results are shown here. 93% of the candidates passed the exam. That included 82% of those who were taking it for the second or third time, and 94% of those who were taking it for the first time. Finally, we want you to take advantage of this opportunity to provide us feedback on the questionnaire that will be emailed to you immediately following your exam. It's important that we give a fair exam and that we assess your knowledge. We realize that these questions can be difficult during the exam, but we know you've studied hard and are very well prepared. We're continuing to try to improve the process because the board believes that all candidates deserve a fair and uniform examination experience. And we value your opinion, and we are making changes going forward to the exam process to do just that. We know it's stressful. Take a deep breath, relax, enjoy demonstrating your mastery of urology to your examiners, because we know you studied very, very hard for this exam. So once again, welcome to the 2021 certifying examination. We wish you to do your very best, and thank you.